Reppin' Philly ain't a choice, it's a way of life. PhillyGoat.com is your one stop shop for Philly pride. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. Look fresh, stay Philly, Philly Goat. Go Birds. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for November 18th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of the podcast. I am more well rested today. I apologize for any errors I made yesterday. I think I got it all in, though, but it was a late night. It is Tuesday, though. That means it's time for a little motivation / positivity brought to you by the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network. Go to clashingconferences.com to see how you can join. We here at This Day in Philly Sports History, as well as the Brotherly Birds Breakdown, are proud members of the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network. And today's quote I thought was very appropriate for really what's been going on in my life, and it's graveyards are full of people who thought they had more time. And to me, this quote is the story of procrastination, the fear of change. And for me, last week we found the budget for Pennsylvania passed, and I think most people were like, great, we got a budget, this, that, and the other. However, in that budget, there were very deep cuts to cyber charter schools, which is what I work in. So find out today sort of what that means, but kind of was a stark reminder that you never know what's going to happen. So it did motivate me to start throwing out applications and start looking at jobs, updating things. So it appeared, don't know the details yet, but it does appear that I do have some time. However, it was kind of like a wake-up call. And this quote, everybody thinks they have more time, and it's something I always said, oh, eventually I'll do it, I'll put it off. But when reality smacks you in the face like that, sometimes you need to act. So I think with this quote, what it's telling you to do is not wait until reality smacks you in the face. We're going into the Thanksgiving season now. We're kind of wrapping up the year, and a lot of people, because of the hustle and bustle of the holidays, they're always like, oh, I'll start this on January 1st. I'll start that. And why wait? Start now. We've talked about this previously numerous times. Why wait? A lot of times people are like, I'll start fresh on Monday. Why not start fresh on Tuesday? Get it started. You never know. Take the chance. And this is anything, whether it's looking for a job, starting a workout routine, saying I love you, saying I'm sorry, saying I forgive you. You never know when reality is going to smack you in the face and when it's going to be over. So don't wait for someday. Don't be that person in the graveyard who thought you had more time. Get out there. Take action now. Don't procrastinate. And hopefully something in there you can take with you for your weeks. Like I said, a lot of times these quotes and what I talk about tend to mirror what's happening in my personal life. So for me, reality smacks you in the face. Be a little bit proactive. Like I said, I have no idea what's going to happen today when we go in. However, everybody always thinks they have more time. You probably don't. So don't wait. Go out. Do something. Say you're sorry. Say I love you. Say I forgive you. Start a new project. Whatever it is, don't wait for a date, January 1st or tomorrow or Monday. Start today. Take control because you don't have unlimited time. And hopefully, like I said, you can take something out of that with your weeks. That has been Tuesday Motivation Positivity for today. Brought to you, as always, by the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network. Go to clashingconferences.com for details on how you can get involved. All right, so let's start with the Sixers. I will have some stuff here on the Eagles because a lot happened yesterday. But good win for the Sixers, 110-108. Tyrese Maxey dropped 39. They rallied in the fourth quarter. They scored 37 points. They were down at 1 point, 13 to our old buddy James Harden. But it was a good gutsy win, especially without Joe once again due to the right knee soreness. Paul George made his return to the lineup. Struggled a little bit shooting, which is to be expected. He hasn't played in a while, but did drop 7 boards, 3 assists in about 21 minutes. But he looked good. He actually looked like there wasn't... Sure, he was rusty, but from a physical standpoint, he looked good. So anything you can get out of Paul George is going to be good for this team. So I will take that. But 110, 108, as they kind of figure out what they have, who's there. They're dealing with, honestly, a ton of injuries. So they still managed to make it fun. But 110, 108, Sixers beat the Clippers. And I want to give a shout out to Brandon Graham, who was in the crowd and had probably the best. I think I've seen this before, but it is Dallas week. And he had a hat with the Cowboys star with the big red circle and a line through it. BG always trolling, even on a Monday night down at the X. And that does lead us in. It is the Thanksgiving season of what we're thankful for this year. And yesterday we were thankful for the Eagles, but today we're thankful for Tyrese Maxey. He is slowly, and he's probably there the way he's played this season, but taking that step into elite status. Hard to believe he's still so young because he came out so early, but really coming into his own. This is his team, and he's stepping up, taking the reins, and being the leader that this team needs. Obviously averaging 30 points per game, one of the leaders in 3-point shots made this year, and just so fun to watch. Absolutely fun to watch. And the main thing to me, like I said, is eventually they were going to have to pass the torch from Joe to Tyrese. And a lot of it was going to come down to whether or not Joe wanted to do it. He did it, and Tyrese not only took it, but is doing great things with it. My daughter, who's on the travel basketball team, is wearing number 0 because of Tyrese Maxey. And that, to me, is just incredible. So Tyrese Maxey, we are thankful for you today as we go through the Thanksgiving season. Glad he's on our team. And a little side shout out there to Daryl Morey for drafting him. But that is who we're thankful for today, Tyrese Maxey. All right, let's get to those Eagles, though. All right, I guess we'll start with the GOAT of the game voting. 85% D-line. Lots of discussion whether it should be Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Jalen Phillips, Moro Ojomo. But everybody agreed someone on the D-line was the GOAT, so we'll go with the whole thing. I do want to give a shout-out to the handful of people who did vote for Dan Campbell. But the defense still had to stop them. So I got where they were going with that, but the defensive line still had to make the thing, or the plays. So the big news coming out yesterday was Lane Johnson does have a Liz Frank injury. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. You might remember that from the Andy Reid days. N'Kobe Dean, I believe, had it last year or 2 years ago as well. But Chad Lewis had it. I believe like Reese had one. Deuce Staley had one. And essentially there's varying degrees of how severe the injury are. Lane's expected to be out 4 to 6 weeks. He is tough, so I expect him to be back for the playoffs, but still getting to the playoffs now is going to be tough sledding because the whole offensive line looks different. I don't know who's going to step up, but somebody's got to step up because when they played with Lane in there, they were able to put Fred Johnson in as the extra offensive lineman, which really helped the running game. The O-line was already struggling with Lane, so they're just going to need to adjust. And they're going to all need to kind of step up and do what they need to do. Jeff Stoutland's going to have to earn his reputation, I think, over the course of the rest of the season. So we'll see what happens with that. But Lane Johnson out 4 to 6 weeks. And I saw somebody question this the other day, and my first reaction was like, no way. And then I started to, like, the more I thought about it, maybe, and I believe it was Crossing Broad, so I'll shout them out. But Lane is slowly entering the Jason Peters territory where he can't stay on the field. And I'm not sure the Eagles have the answer on the roster right now to replace him. So again, Jeff Stoutland, ball's in your court, man. You got to earn that reputation, or at least live up to your reputation now. All right, so some other news and notes from the game as I had a chance to kind of reflect, sleep, and really go back. I think the tush push can be stopped. I think what the Lions did to the Eagles on Sunday night might change the narrative, and maybe the tush push won't go anywhere, and you're seeing more and more teams actually run it. The one play that was interesting was the Brett Toth. I'm sure, I know it was the rules, but the Lions were lined up in the neutral zone, and I guess he touched him thinking he was going to get the offsides, which he probably should have, but I don't understand the rule, to be honest. But at the end of the day, the refs have been terrible. And if the refs are having trouble officiating, that's an official's problem. That's not a tush push. That's not a play problem. And honestly, the pass interference on A.J. Brown, I know a lot of Lions fans are pissed off. I know Cam Newton was pissed off. And the truth of the matter is, it was a bad call. I mean, and I don't think there's any Eagles fan out there that will say that was a good call. But that is the story of this season with the referees, and it goes both ways. Even going back to the past couple of years, going back to the Super Bowl, that was, what I forget which defensive back it was, but what they did to A.J. Brown was more egregious than what James Bradbury did in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. And I don't think either one of them should have been called penalties, but they were. The refs they missed some calls on both sides, and it's a shame, and especially in a game like that the referees are playing that much of an impact. Would the Lions have likely come back and won that game? Probably not. I say it all the time. The bad calls from the referee, unless you're getting like 12 bad calls, they're not going to impact the game. The Lions were outplayed. They were out physical. They were out whatever you want to say by the Eagles defense. So it wouldn't have made that much of a difference. But I get people's argument that, it robbed them of an entertaining final. But it is what it is at this point. And I'm not even sure how to combat that. Lots to think about if you're the NFL in the offseason. The other thing is the identity of the offense. What is their identity? Last year, it was obvious they were a run first team, power running team, and everything funneled through Saquon. But this year, I don't know what their identity is. There was the rumors that inside the building from Derek Gunn, who I trust, I think D Gunn is locked in, that people are unhappy. Made it seem like players, coaching, and everything with the way that Jalen plays the game. However, that is his identity. He's very cautious with the ball. He's not going to turn the ball over a lot of times. And if you don't turn the ball over, their record when they win the turnover battle is pretty solid. So maybe this is the identity of the offense. That is just a very vanilla, dare I say, boring offense, but it gets the job done. And if the defense is going to be playing the way it's been playing, I don't think it matters. And I think also one thing, and Kyle and I will get more into it this week on the Brotherly Birds Breakdown, but I think one thing to keep in mind is look at this stretch of games where you had Green Bay out in Green Bay. You had the Lions who came in fired up for this game. They've been looking forward to this game for almost a year and a half now. So I think part of it is the tough teams, but I do think it's also fair to say that there are some issues, whether it's the quarterback, the play calling, the line. There's plenty of games or plenty of blame to go around. So I'm anxious to see what happens when they play the Cowboys this week. And that being said, it is Cowboys week. The opening line was 4.5, which seems kind of low, which leads me to believe that it may be a trap game. Coming off the quote-unquote gauntlet of the schedule that the Eagles had, and we'll see. And then it doesn't get any easier with the Bears as well, so we'll see what happens. But it is Dallas week. Always a fun week here in Philly. And one last note on the offense. It doesn't appear, like I've said this a couple times too, it doesn't appear that Saquon has lost a step. But I will say, it is kind of strange to me that whenever, and I know it's like one play here or there, but whenever Bigsby comes in, he's able to rip off some runs. So I don't know if the line blocks differently. So I think that's something to monitor. But that is our Eagles coverage. It is Dallas week starting tomorrow. We'll start focusing on the Cowboys, keep you updated on any injury. And then, of course, later this week, coming Thursday, the Brotherly Birds Breakdown with Kyle will be out, so stay tuned for that. And then be sure to follow me on social media at Philly Jimbo on all socials. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont. Spread the word and all of that other good stuff. And then the 3rd annual gift and food drive is up and running. Used a new site rather than GoFundMe. I'm using Give Butter this year because they're more suited for the type of fundraiser I'm doing. They don't take any fees and things like that. So 100% of the donations will go and benefit our friends and neighbors at the Maddie Ann Dixon Community Cover. So all of that information is on my social media. It's in the description wherever you go here. But if you can, go to my social media, scan the QR code, and give anything you can. Every little bit helps as we're trying to get food, supplies, gift cards to help those of our friends and neighbors who are struggling and need some help this holiday season. Whether you're coaching Little League, crushing your fantasy league, or just rolling up to a bachelor party like a Philly legend, Lotwin Custom Hype Chains bring the energy. Fully customizable, totally unforgettable, and guaranteed to turn you into the MVP of the moment. Great for teams, groomsmen, or anyone who wants to show off with some serious swagger. Go to Lotwin.com, use the promo code TCCPOD, and get 10% off your own custom hype chain. Lotwin, let's get hyped together. All right, November 18th. And what happened on this day in November 18th? First, we're going to go back to 1975. And on this day in 1975, Gary Maddox won a Gold Glove for the first time in his career, the first of 8 straight that he won in center field. And as the saying that my dad used to always tell me goes, 70% of the earth is covered by water. The other 30% is covered by Gary Maddox. Coincidentally, though, and I thought this was an interesting little fact for you. When Gary Maddox won the Gold Glove in 1975, he was the first Philly outfielder to win a Gold Glove. And truthfully, not many have won it since. I know Victorino won a couple, Aaron Rowan won one, but just an interesting tidbit there that Gary Maddox in 1975 was the first Philly to win a Gold Glove as an outfielder. All right, and then sticking with the Phils, and this one, on this day in 1997, one of the most polarizing players, I think, in Phillies history was acquired when the Phillies traded Kevin Stocker to the Tampa Bay Rays for Bobby Abreu. And then say what you want about Bobby. I know people have very strong feelings one way or the other. He is top 10 in a lot of offensive categories for the Phillies. He is a borderline Hall of Famer. But I think what people tend to say he was quote unquote lazy. People tend to say his numbers were hollow. And you can make a fair argument to that point. However, I think Bobby Abreu gets to be the poster child for the failures and the late season collapses of those teams with Larry Bowa. Fairly or unfairly, I think that's where people kind of land on that. It also does not help that once he was traded, the Phillies went on their golden era run, so to speak. So Bobby Abreu acquired on this day for Kevin Stocker. To me, one of the most polarizing players in Phillies history. I tend to lean more on he was a good player, just did not have full teams. You could put some of that on some of the pitching and the other players around him. You could put it on Larry Bowa. But I do think Bobby Abreu kind of gets the short end of that stick as the poster child. And like I said, it doesn't help his case at all that they got better after he left. All right, and then fast forward to 2001, It is Dallas week, so of course we're going to do some Cowboys love here. We're not Cowboys love, but you know what I mean. The Eagles traveled to Dallas, but the offense struggled. We're only able to gain 227 total yards, but they left Dallas with a 36-3 win. David Akers kicked 5 field goals. Defense forced 4 turnovers and 3 sacks, including 2 pick sixes, one by Jeremiah Trotter, the other by old William Hampton. Remember him? Yeah, I don't either. But on this day, Eagles beat the Cowboys 36-3 down in Dallas as David Akers and the defense star as the Eagles continued their march to their first division title since 1988. And then finally, didn't do a trivia question yesterday. Completely slipped my mind, to be honest, but you have that when you have 3 hours of sleep. But Bobby Abreu is one of 6 players with 250 home runs and 400 stolen bases. Who are the other 5? Going to test your baseball knowledge here. Hit me up on the Discord channel, the Back to the Future voice and text line. Shout out to everybody we've seen an uptick in voicemails and text messages, so keep them coming. 267-495-8531. Get anything Philly sports related off your chest. Sixers, Eagles, want to talk Phillies offseason, hot stove, Flyers, all of that is fair game. And don't forget the Union play this weekend in the playoffs. They're finally back after the U.S. men's national team sort of break that they had a little week and a half or so. Throwing my pen everywhere. Pandemonium breaking out in the studio this morning. On this day in 2001, Eagles go down to Dallas and win 36-3. 2 pick sixes and 5 David Akers field goal led the way. In 1997, Phillies trade Kevin Stocker to the Tampa Bay Rays for Bobby Abreu. And then in 1975, Gary Maddox wins his first Gold Glove, and the first Gold Glove won by a Phillies outfielder. We're thankful today for Tyrese Maxey really stepping up into his own and taking that leap toward elite status. Still in the top 5, I believe, in scoring after dropping 39 last night. So Tyrese, thank you. We'll have more on the Eagles tomorrow. Flyers are on a nice little break right now. They don't come back until Thursday. I believe the Sixers play again on Thursday as well. So, or no, I guess the Sixers play tomorrow. Either way, we'll have coverage of all of that. But remember, it's Tuesday. Your motivation today, the graveyards are full of people who thought they had more time. Don't be one of them. Don't put off anything that you can do today. Don't wait for January 1st. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for next week, December 1st, whatever you're waiting for. Get off your butt. Go out and do the thing, whatever the thing is for you, and don't waste time, because time is our most precious resource and it is not unlimited. So go out and don't procrastinate and get the thing done. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for November 18th, 2025. My name is Jim Montgomery. Go have yourselves a Tuesday. Stay warm out there. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.